Welcome to Killer Women with your host, best-selling author Danielle Girard. And now, Danielle's next killer woman.
Hello, and welcome to Killer Women Podcast, a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Network with more than 4 million listeners. I am your host, suspense author Danielle Girard, and my guest today is Hannah Morrissey. Hannah is the author of the critically acclaimed Black Harbor suspense series. Set in a crime-ridden city that is a character in and of itself, the series is aptly described as an intriguing mix of police procedural and psychological thriller by Kirkus Review that brings a, quote, welcome aesthetic of the gothic, the New York Times. Hannah's books have earned starred book list reviews, Librarian's Choice Awards, and an Amazon editor's pick. When I'm Dead was also a featured Book of the Month title for October of 2023. Her debut novel, Hello Transcriber, was inspired by her time working as a police transcriber. Hannah lives near Milwaukee with her husband, 3 pugs, and a TBR pile that never seems to get any smaller. Welcome, Hannah.
Hi, thanks for having me again.
I know. Actually, we were just talking, Hannah and I actually spent a lot of fun time together outside of work outside of Killer Women. But this is her third time on the show, and Hannah was my very, very, very first Killer Women interview before we knew each other at all, right? So
I feel
that's
like that I should have added that to my bio. First Killer Women guest.
that's right. You are the OG Killer Woman.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
we're talking. This is so fun because of course, that was about the first book in the series, Hello Transcriber, and now we are on the 5th book in the series.
Fourth book.
4th book. See, I lose track even.
You're wishfully thinking you want a fifth book.
I do. I won't. We will not talk about that quite yet. Yeah, show us Hello Transcriber from the 1st to the 4th. Oh, beautiful. And I love what they've done with the
Oh,
yeah. Look how gorgeous that
I
is.
know. That was a surprise to me. Like, I don't know if I didn't look very closely at the print file, but then when I got them, I was like, oh, it's like caution tape yellow.
And it's also like matches your top, which is fabulous. If you're not seeing us today, you're missing. Hannah is taking a vacation to a tropical island tomorrow, and she's dressed for it. Meanwhile, it's snowy in Bozeman. So, okay, tell our listeners and readers, please, about the unlucky ones.
Okay, so The Unlucky Ones is the fourth novel in the Black Harbor suspense series, but I do want to preface for anybody who might not be familiar that series is kind of a loose term. Black Harbor is more like a universe, because all of the books can be experienced as standalones because they all feature unique protagonists and unique mysteries. However, what's unique about The Unlucky Ones is that our protagonists, Hazel, the police transcriber, and Cole, the detective, now sergeant, are the main characters in this one, and they do come back in The Unlucky Ones when Hazel has gone off. She's like living her life as an author, and she's pulled back to Black Harbor when she receives news that her ex-husband has been murdered. And who's working the case but her former lover, Sergeant Nikolai Cole. And, he's determined to get to the bottom of who killed Tommy Greenlee and, wrapped him up in garbage bags and left him in the back of this motorcycle club. And Hazel's just as interested to find out who did it and why. And so she's going to return to Black Harbor, and she has some other unfinished business as well.
And it's true. I mean, I think I have read, also I think when you read a series and there's a year between books, like sometimes you're like, wait, I need to sort of go back and think about what happened in
Uh-huh.
the last book. But I have felt every book in Black Harbor very much lives in its own universe, although there's fun references to the books
Oh,
within,
yeah.
which I,
Yeah.
those little Easter eggs, and there's a
Oh,
bunch of
this one has like
yeah.
all the Easter eggs.
This has a ton of Easter eggs, including Hazel's, the bracelet that's on the cover,
Mhm.
that you will.
Oh, which I'm wearing.
Oh, are you wearing your Hazel bracelet?
Yeah, so Macmillan is actually doing
I love
a
that.
really fun pre-order campaign. If you pre-order the book now up until the day before it comes out, March 24th, if you pre-order the book and you submit just proof of purchase. They're super lenient on it. To Macmillan, they'll send you the Hazel bracelet.
I love that. So this book is, but I do think I would say if you're gonna get into the unlucky ones, read Hello Transcriber first. Not because I think if you read it in reverse order, you just miss out on some of the nuance and also the original story between Hazel and Nikolai, which is
Mhm.
very fraught and very sexy. And we're not going to talk to you about what happens in this book between them because you have to read it. But it is super, super fun. And the other thing that is in the Black Harbor series that I remember so vividly from Hello Transcriber is the bridge, right?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
is this, and that is, I mean, the town for sure is a character. I feel like the bridge is a character.
yeah. No,
Um,
Ford Bridge is certainly a presence.
it is a presence.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was it like to go back to Hazel and Nikolai? First of all, I want to know, did you have to go back and reread Hello and Transcriber? Because I feel like if I did something similar with the Rookie Club series where the first book
Mhm.
was about the fifth book and the first book were about the same. And I had to go back and be like, I couldn't even remember like what hair color she had or
Right.
eye color. I was like, who was that woman?
Oh yeah. I think I didn't go through like sequentially like in order and like sit down and read the book. Maybe I should have, but I don't know. I feel like I remember the story so well. But I did go back. Like I certainly kept the book out as reference, or I would keep like the Word document open on my computer and I would like I knew I'm like, oh, I think I wrote about this before. I know that there was this part, or I definitely did keep it open for reference, even,
Yeah.
because she's returning to places that we have not seen in a couple of books. So like she goes back to that old duplex she used to live in. So I wanted to make sure I got everything right there, or,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
the bar she goes to with where she meets Nick.
oh
Yeah,
right, yeah.
and they
Hmm.
play Pac-Man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Hmm.
stuff that comes from
Yeah.
the first book. Yeah, I would be doing the search, the like find and
Yeah.
like where did I
Yeah.
reference Pac-Man and what was her top score or whatever,
Yeah. I know. I did like the edit find. It was like the lazy girl way of
I think that's fair. I mean, what readers want is the authenticity that if they read Black Harbor today, I mean,
Mhm.
Hello Transcriber today, and they read the
Yeah.
Lucky Ones tomorrow, that they're like, oh yeah, she's, because
Hmm.
it is, I mean, like, it's a universe to keep track of. Like, it's imagine you
Yeah.
haven't seen a friend who you knew really, really well, like for a
Hmm.
year, and you haven't seen them in 5 years or 4 years,
Hmm.
3 years even, right? You
Hmm.
forget like some of the,
Yeah. And there were parts too that I intentionally wanted to echo from Hello Transcriber into the Unlucky Ones. So there's things that Hazel says or thinks in Hello Transcriber that come back in
yeah.
the Unlucky Ones. So yeah, I definitely did a lot of referencing.
And then there's also like they're very different people, both of them, right? They've been through
Mhm.
um and there's some fun mysteries that were planted in Hello Transcriber that we find, which I think is actually really impressive. Like I always wonder, like when for instance, the bracelet, right? When Hazel's
Mhm.
bracelet was in Hello Transcriber, do you think that there was some piece of your mind that was like, ooh, this is gonna come back up later?
No. I'm glad it
Yeah.
worked out. I had no idea this bracelet would like end up being on the cover of one of the.
Totally. I know. It's got big placement. I know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when I first wrote about the bracelet because there's a beginning scene in Hello Transcriber when she's out running and she finds herself on the bridge and she sort of gives these like ceremonial offerings, and it was just a moment of thinking what would you really be running with that you could,
Right.
if you're out for a run. So I was like, well, it's believable that she could have a bracelet on. So she tossed her bracelet into the river, and that bracelet ends up finding its way back to her in the book and not looking so good, like painting some suspicion on her. Um, and then I remember like at the time, my editor was like really excited. She's like, "Oh, bringing that bracelet back." And that was so brilliant. I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then in the Widowmaker, it was just a little Easter egg that Cole had it hanging on his rearview mirror,
Right.
and people just like loved that.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like, well, we have to see it again and when I'm dead. So he keeps it on his rearview mirror. And then now it's a big deal in the unlucky ones again. But yeah, I had no idea that bracelet would be so important. There was something I did plant in the book that I thought if it's here, if I want it, if I don't do anything with it, it's okay. But it ended up working out, and there are scratch off tickets in every book.
Yes, that was another thing that was yeah, that was really clever. I mean, I think I do feel like the sort of the magic of writing is that sometimes things just sort of show up and you're like, I don't really know what this is here for, but somehow
Right.
I think it must get planted in your subconscious because then
I
as you're
think so.
working on the next thing, you're like, oh, there it is again. Well, that's kind of weird. But I think
Yeah.
as a reader, it's so fun. I think you feel like you're you're sort of got an inside joke with the author if you can.
Hmm.
When you find those Easter eggs, it's like the author is rewarding you for having read the whole series, you
Oh,
know.
definitely. Yeah.
Um,
As an author, it's really fun to see readers call that stuff out that they noticed. And I'm like, oh, yay.
all this time behind my computer by myself is worth it because look at
Great.
this
Yeah.
payoff. I love it.
Somebody acknowledged it.
Somebody acknowledged it. So, okay, so tell us, how do you feel that, I mean, we don't know what's the future for Black Harbor, but did you feel like, because I know there was a time when you had, was your first deal 2 books? Was that how it worked?
Mhm.
And you knew they
Yeah.
would both be Black Harbor books?
No,
Okay.
I got a 2 book deal for Hello Transcriber and then just another book.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Hello Transcriber was finished and they say, what else does she have? What's she going to work on next? I pitched a couple of ideas, and one of them I was like, well, I really, I think Black Harbor is so much more vast than what I've explored. So I think it could be fun to set another book here and I could make it really different. And so that was the Widowmaker, and they wanted the Widowmaker. So yeah, and then I had more ideas. I'm like, well, let's explore some more. And my friend was like, you should write a book with a medical examiner as the main character. So I said, okay. And that was When I'm Dead.
Right.
Then my publisher actually asked me to write the fourth one.
Yeah.
So,
And so, I mean, I know like sometimes this is interesting things. I mean, you wrote Hello Transcriber as a standalone. I mean, you started that,
yeah,
you created a
yeah.
whole world for that. And you've since then you've written another book that is also either the beginning of a series or a standalone. But
Yeah, we'll
when you,
see.
yeah, exactly. I know that is actually oftentimes it's not up to us, right? I mean,
Right.
I think I wrote Exhume as a standalone. I wrote Whiteout as a standalone, and those books were
Hmm.
the beginning of series.
Hmm.
So basically, but how what do you think of it? Like, how do you explain the difference in your mind? Like, how does it feel different to like go back to a world versus a
Hmm.
fresh world? What are the things that are wonderful about going back, and what are the things that are wonderful about starting over?
Hmm. I know. I think it sounds so odd to say that Black Harbor is like my comfort zone.
Ah,
I'm very comfortable there. I
it's a
like
very
it.
dark place to be comfortable, but we understand.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I like it there because I know it. It's familiar. And it's based like it's kind of like a conglomerization. Maybe I made that word up, but like an amalgamation of
Yeah.
real places and that I can go to and reference. I can go to the bridge and get inspiration there and check it out. So I'm very comfortable in Black Harbor. The thing that was the most challenging, and my editor like brought this up when they were wanting me to write that fourth book, and I was resisting only in the sense that I had a standalone that I was excited about and working on,
Right.
and they're like, we will do that, but we really want Black Harbor 4, and if you ever thought about writing another one, now would be the time to do it.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I definitely do want to do it, so I will, time some things, but she's like, you know these characters, Hannah. Like, Hazel, Cole. And I'm like, yes, but sometimes that makes it more challenging. I think that was my challenge especially with Hazel, where I'm like, we have not seen this character in 8 years. She has to be different,
So
but
different.
but she still has to be that character that we remember. Like, so how do you kind of like uphold the integrity of that character, but show that she's changed or grown? And then how is this kind of Hazel 2.0, which I think Cole even references her in the book. Like, how does this Hazel 2.0 react and interact with Black Harbor, and how does she react and interact with Cole?
Right.
And with the fact that her ex-husband is dead.
And by going back there, she's re stepping back into a version of herself that she no longer, I mean,
Right.
probably recognizes, but no longer, appreciates, right? I mean, that version of
Right.
her was broken
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
damaged, and she's risen above in lots of ways. And not only that, she's because of her book, she's a little famous in Black
Hmm.
Harbor, and so there's like going to coming back also comes with like getting some opinions about,
Right.
who she is, people think she is, even without
Hmm.
knowing her. So.
Right. I would say I'm very comfortable in Black Harbor. I don't think Hazel's very comfortable in Black
Fair,
Harbor.
fair,
But there's
exactly.
like, more people are like generally out to kill her than they are me, at
Yeah,
least as far as
I
I
mean,
know.
that's right. But what's interesting about that too is think about what a different author you were when you wrote Hello Transcriber.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Hmm.
like, because you've also written like, however many books since then. But I mean, just like, and how, like, when we write our first novels, we spend, it's not just a year process, right? We spend all this time on it because, you really, the first one has to be perfect before it goes out, or else we don't start this whole crazy career. And then after
Hmm.
that, you're like 1 a year, they really want you on a deadline. So,
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think I was thinking about that too because I get asked quite often, how long does it take you to write a book or how long did each book take you? And I've certainly gotten faster with each one, at least, specific to the Black Harbor series. But I mean, Hello Transcriber took me like 3 years,
yeah, exactly.
because I think you're so much figuring it out, you're finding your footing, and you're usually working two jobs on top of
Yeah.
trying to write a novel. And then it's all the querying and finding, like trying to get into the industry. So yeah, I think Hello Transcriber probably took me like 3 years, but then the unlucky ones I wrote in like 5 or 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just I
Yeah.
mean, and this is the first time actually, I mean, really, this is the first time you've been on the show when you are a full-time writer. You are not
True, true.
trying to do, we've known lots of Hannah's jobs, which we will not outline right now. But you've had worked, I mean, you always did this and worked.
Hmm.
So how's that different?
Oh man, it's so nice now. Like, yeah, no, it's like living the dream. This is the place I've always wanted to get to. So it's, I'm not gonna lie, like it's really awesome. And also, especially now that I'm in book launch season, even with When I'm Dead, the previous book, I was like, I promised myself before that one came out, I'm not working a full-time job and doing a book launch at the same time, but I did.
Yeah.
And this time I'm like, wow, I think you don't know what you're capable of until you have to do it. And just now I'm like, I'm just glad that I don't have to be capable of working the full-time job and doing a book launch because it's just so much.
Yeah. So what does a book launch look like? I mean, we don't actually talk about that much on the show, but it is
Hmm.
like it's a huge deal, right? Because
Yeah.
even though we're really not supposed to be responsible for everything, it seems like we're responsible for everything. So yeah,
Hmm.
like talk us through it. So when did we get advanced reader copies for the unlucky ones?
It was in the fall, I
Yes, it
remember.
feels like it was like September,
Yes.
October. Okay, so that's a full 6 months before due
Yeah.
date. And then,
Mhm.
what else do you have to do, Hannah?
Oh gosh. Well, Danielle. I mean, there's so much. I think social media is such a big player now. Like authors have to be marketers too. And so it definitely helps when you have a really great marketing team. Like I love my marketing team at Minotaur. I have to shout out my guy Steve. He's just the best,
I
Steve
love
Erickson.
that.
And
Thanks.
then yeah, and but so yes, working very closely with your marketing team, but also just having a presence on social media, like whatever platform works for you. My main one's Instagram. I do some Facebook. I'm scared of TikTok. I just can't do it.
I know.
I'm scared of X or whatever. So mostly Instagram for me. But yeah, it's like all the hype up to it, getting people excited, putting that awareness out that, hey, I wrote a new book and it's coming out on this date. And then working with your publicist, like shout out to my publicist, Kayla Janis. She's the
Oh,
best.
she's lovely. Yeah, I
She
love
is the
her.
best. And just getting that like that tour schedule solidified, appearances, and then doing like interviews like this, which are great because now we're like cross-pollinating. So
Yeah, you
now,
can't be everywhere either. I mean, you can't go to every. But you've got an incredible bookshop with a great
Mm,
friend near you, which is on my
yes.
short list when for
Oh my
next
gosh, yes. Blue House Books. Yeah, Blue
Blue
House
House
Books.
Books.
Yeah, Blue House Books in Kenosha, Wisconsin are amazing. And um I tell people ask a lot, like, where can I get signed copies of your books? Blue House Books. They always have signed copies. If they are not signed, Sam will hunt me down and make me sign them. She's done it before.
Love it.
So they will always be signed. And then we have the best launch party there. It's the night before.
Is that where you're gonna do it on? So,
Yeah.
just
On March 24th, we're doing a
tell me
huge
what
launch
that's
party.
like. What's it? I mean, I haven't had a launch party in a million years, because it was COVID. I feel like the last time I had a book
I
launch.
probably go overboard with that.
No, I think why wouldn't we celebrate? This is a lot of hard work, right? So what does the launch party look like?
Yeah, so this one is special this time. I have not done, I think this is the first time Sam's doing one like this too, where we're doing a VIP cocktail hour beforehand. And what's really nice about that is people who are at the cocktail hour, they get like special swag and they get their books ahead of time so they can get their books signed at the cocktail hour while they're mingling so they don't have to stand in line if they don't want to
I
at
love
the end of
this.
the event. And then the event is usually like in conversation style, so with another author. Um, I'm with Charlie Donlia this
Yeah, yeah.
this time around, and so I'm really excited to like we've chatted back and forth, but and he blurbed the unlucky ones, so he was a great like natural choice. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, he's already read it and he says he liked it. So
Exactly. He even was willing to put that in writing. So,
yes,
and
yes.
it makes
So
it
we'll
so
be
much
in
easier,
conversation.
the conversation, right? Like you know, and I think that's interesting because like I feel like when I started publishing, which now is like 100 years ago, authors didn't do that. You kind of got
Yeah.
up and you gave a little whatever spiel and you
Oh,
read a little
spiel,
something,
yeah.
which to be honest, like as a reader, I don't necessarily need the author to read to me. I'm going to read the book. Like,
Right.
and I would
That's
rather I'd rather hear something about, the process or their life or
hmm
the inspiration for the book or whatever else and like save the book for let me
well,
do that on my own.
there's audiobooks for that.
Exactly. If I want someone to read it to
I'm
me.
like, I don't want to read my own book out loud. Ugh.
I know, exactly. Me neither. And as soon as you start to read it out, you're like, why did I pick that word right there? So,
No, and I'm not going to do the voices like the audiobook narrators will.
oh,
So,
I know. They're
like,
so good.
trust me, they're better at
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So, okay, so that's super fun. And then what
hmm
is your tour? Like, where are you? I know you're going to be at Thriller Fest in June
Yes.
because I'm going to be there with you. Where
hmm
else are you heading?
Let's see. I'm starting out at Blue House Books in Kenosha. Then I'm moving to Anderson's Bookshop in Naperville,
Okay.
Illinois, which that's been a bucket list bookshop for me. So I'm excited to check it out. I'll be in conversation with Mary Kubica.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's great. She actually did my launch event for When I'm Dead
I saw
last.
her. She blurbed it too.
She did. Yeah, she's right on the cover, right on the front
Dark,
cover.
gritty, and addictive. This is Hannah Morrissey at her best. I love
Yeah,
that.
Mary's
Okay.
great. We love Mary.
Yeah, so that's super fun.
Yeah, we'll be in conversation at Anderson's bookshop, and then I moved to Houston, Murder by the Book. So I'll be doing an event with Abby Endler, Crime by the Book, and Ashley Winstead, who we're book buddies this year. Our books come out on the same day.
Your pub twins. I actually,
Yes.
yeah, she's going to be on the show the same week you are. So it's going to be
Oh,
a
that's
really
funny.
fabulously,
We're legit doing like 3 events together.
and then Katie Hayes is another one. The
Oh
three of you
yeah.
guys are all out on the 25th of March, it
hmm
makes it a fabulous pub day. Everybody just has to like be prepared to sit down and read a lot for the
Yeah,
next
people,
month.
it's gonna be a real dark week for people.
It's true, actually. Those are, having read them all, they are exactly three really fabulously dark books.
Yeah, people are gonna
And
need like
that's,
a serotonin boost.
yeah. Well, hopefully the weather will be getting warmer at least.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're down in Houston, and that's super fun.
Yeah. And then I moved to like Swamp Fox bookstore where I'll be in conversation with Heather Gudenkoff.
Oh, fun. So is that in Iowa?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm in uh oh, it's at the tip of my tongue. Somewhere in near Grand Rapids, Michigan, Okemos, Michigan. I feel bad that
Do you drive to those places or I should know my geography better than this. They're too.
no, because we have to, it looks like we're closer, or it seems like we should be closer than we are because we have to drive around Lake Michigan.
Oh yeah, that's in the way.
Tax on like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So, so
Okay.
no, I fly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm hitting up another kind of like home bookstore for me. It's Lion's Mouth Bookstore in Green Bay. So most of my family, like my family will come to that one. And I'm doing a really cool thing with the Winnebago Historical Society in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, like some whole big event.
That's so fun. I love
Yeah.
it. Now, some of these, of course, are your connections and your choices, but does what does the publisher do in charge of this in terms of this? They just say, here are some suggested places to go. Or are you just like, no, this is where I'm gonna go?
I can give them I give them suggestions or sort of a wish list of where I want to go, but a lot of that is dependent on the bookstores that request you.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of like really great requests come in, and I know they work kind of regionally, right? Like
Yeah, right.
so, I'm like a popular in the Midwest, so they want to know like where's Hannah gonna get the biggest crowd? Like we'll
Of
send
course.
her there. So and then they kind of like branch out like as you like just grow your audience and everything. And but yeah, I always end up in Houston, which I think is funny. But they
Well,
have Murder
yeah.
by the Book, and
Yeah,
you
and
guys have with Abby, and
Abby's
yeah.
amazing. Abby's amazing. And the Murder by
Mhm.
the Book store is amazing. Actually,
Oh yeah.
it's another one that's on my publishing bucket list, which I've been
Oh yeah, you definitely have to go there. Yeah.
forever. So do you have anything that you do like as a special sort of like I always feel like by the time the book comes out, like we all deserve a treat. Is there anything that you
Hmm.
do or that your husband Hans does or anything that's sort of like a this is our thing?
We have a thing. I mean, I bought myself a bunch of new clothes today.
Fair, fair. That's totally
Well, I
fair.
have to match the book cover. I'm like,
Yes.
all my shit is black and
Well, and all your other
blue
books
and
are
gray.
bluer. The first three
Um,
books they're a little bit blue, well,
I
Hello to
told
Forever.
them, yes, I told
Yes.
them,
Yes. They got
and
kind
they
of
like,
green. When I'm dead has a little green
yes,
to it, but they are very much, yeah, different. Which is what makes this really I actually thought this was fun. But when we saw it, I was like, whoa, that's a
yes.
that's a departure
And
for
it's funny because yeah, my publisher, my editor, Leslie assured me, she's like, the fourth book will not be blue. I was like, this is really messing with my wardrobe.
exactly. Well, I like that you can pull that spine and go a little pop of color there.
Yes,
I hope
I
you
do
bought
love
some yellow
yellow.
clothes.
I do love yellow. Yeah. And actually, The Unlucky Ones comes out on my husband Hans's birthday. So, I mean, I told him I'd take him out to dinner.
Yeah, you're like, but I'm busy that night.
I'm like, what do you want to do for your birthday? He's like, well, I guess I'm spending it at Anderson's bookshop.
And you just remind him how grateful he is that that's what he's doing.
Exactly. I'm like,
He's
you
so
said
proud of
it.
you. I'm sure he's happy to spend his birthday that way. The good
He
news
is.
is
Yes.
it's not his every birthday, right? It's like if you have a
Right.
kid on your husband's birthday, then every year. But if you're just
Right.
having a book baby, chances are it won't happen on that day.
Yes. This will blow over. The next one will have a different birthday.
The next one, yeah, the next year it will be absolutely all about you again.
Yeah, because next year it won't be on a Tuesday. So,
Right, exactly. And books
yeah,
always come out on Tuesdays, which
right.
probably most people already know that. But if you
Yeah.
don't, that's the day books come out.
Yeah,
Okay, so
friendly PSA.
yeah,
And,
exactly. So tell our listeners where to find you online, and also you had a good Goodreads giveaway. That's done. Is that still going on? That's done.
Mm, I don't know. It might
Okay,
still
I
be
should know
going
that.
on. There's
I know.
always Goodreads giveaways, I think.
Okay, never mind. Take that off the table. But you
They're
still
doing there is an audiobook giveaway right now though
okay.
through Macmillan Audio.
Okay.
I
I
think
love
for all four of them.
okay. So then can
Hmm.
we find all that stuff on do you have a website that you keep, Hannah? I should know this.
I
Or
do. It's easy. It's just hannahmorrissey.com.
perfect. And then
Yep.
also
And
Instagram.
yes, Instagram just at Hannah Morrissey Writer, because apparently there's more than one Hannah Morrissey. So
I know. I'm Danielle Gerard Books because also I think there was another Danielle Gerard. Now, even though I'm
right.
like, who could that possibly be? But at least there wasn't another, there's not another Hannah Morrissey writer. What if there was like,
I don't, it could be. I don't know.
well, no, there's not. You own it. It's your
Right,
handle.
I own that one. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you are in
And then
charge.
yeah, I'm on Facebook too. Just I think on Facebook I'm Hannah Morrissey author.
Okay, well, that's fair. Like it's the handle, like lining up the
Synonyms.
is complicated. But like you
Yes.
said, you are most active on Instagram, and that's
Yes.
where people can find you and follow you. And actually, Hannah posts like fabulous book reviews, amazing pictures. She's also like an amateur photographer. And then whoever takes pictures of Hannah is like, we all want. I just want actually, I don't even need that person to take pictures of me. I just want my head to be mounted on the pictures of because she's like fabulous in her, I probably need a new author photo. Can I just use your like black leather outfit
Oh
in
yeah.
mine? Look,
Yes.
probably look weird, but
Yes, you can come shopping in my closet. Yes.
that's that sounds great. Okay. That's my next that's my next step into the
Hey,
bedroom.
I mean, if you're like, if any new book is like new author photo is a chance to like reinvent yourself. So if you want to be Danielle Gerard who wears like the black leather, you go
Uh,
for it.
you know what? I think there's a Danielle Gerard who wears black leather. We'll just have to
Hell
find
yeah.
anyway, so fun, Hannah. I always love talking to you. And obviously, I, Hannah and another friend of ours and I have a little project that we are working on that, hopefully we can share something about soon. But in the meantime, Hannah, I'm so happy to be back in Black Harbor
Hey, thank you for
with the
reading.
unlucky ones and Hazel and Nick, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone, this is Killer Women with Hannah Morrissey, and we will see you next time. Bye.